Hey, how are you doing? Sudden master belt in a nursing school in Saitama Prefecture of Japan has become an object of public concern in a Japanese society. The cause of master belt this time was seen as frequent verbal abuse and quite persistent lecture from an administrative director of nursing school. So this director's name is Ohashi, and she took charge of some classes in this nursing school, although she was in the managing position of this nursing school as an administrative director. So one of the students in this nursing school testified that she didn't actually teach a class on a daily basis in many cases. So in most cases, her class finishes with only her, long persistent lecture that only blamed her student for mistakes and shortcomings during the class. For example, during her class, she just randomly picks a student to ask a question about something, but a student can't answer the question easily, and the students have trouble answering it without saying words. She threw abusive words to a student like, "Why you don't even know this? You are a piece of scum. You're so stupid. Do you have dementia?" So I'm really surprised with this question. Like, do you have a dementia from a person who actually teaches nursing to a student in nursing school? I feel really skeptical if she actually understood what she actually said to a student during the class. This question is absolutely profanity towards a patient suffering from dementia. Seriously. So unbelievable. So even while lunchtime after the class, she persistently, continued lecturing and pursued student mistakes. So the vice president of this nursing school couldn't actually stand looking at this mess that she continued lecturing students even while lunchtime. She just jumped into the classroom and shout Ohashi like, "What do you think you're doing? What do you think you're doing? Give them a rest. Now is their lunchtime," or something like that. So student had and moreover, students had to update a class diary about what they learned every day and submit it to a teacher every single day when they were classes. But Ohashi didn't actually teach a class frequently, but she just lectured students harshly with abusive words during the class. So students were forced to write the lesson contents that they weren't actually taught by her yet, as they pretended to learn it already during the class in the class diary. So it is unbelievably terrible harassment, don't you think? So of course we have to problematize the personality of this administrative director as a teacher taking charge of some classes in the nursing school, but I feel essentially there is a more fundamental constructive problem that made her behave like this in a nursing school. So the turnover rate in the nursing industry in Japan is said to be outstandingly high compared to other industries. So of course, nursing job is not really easy, but quite tough work. And because nurses must take care of patients all day long, every day, in hospital, and even though they're tired, they can't sleep easily. And sometimes they can't sleep very well. So, but the most outstanding reason the Japanese nurses quit the job is harassment and abusive verbal attack from colleagues and seniors and the boss. So backbiting and spreading false rumors and false accusation and abusive verbal attack and quite emotional lecture, persistent lecture, are rampant in the nursing industry in Japan. So the examples that new faces disappear one after another because of seniors' abusive verbal attack and abusive behavior are too many to count in nursing industry in Japan. So this is a big social problem in Japan. I think this problem is triggered by the fact that the nursing industry is a woman society. As an overall trend, I think the difference of sociality in both gender between men and women gives a great impact on the security of the community. So if we think nursing industry were the male society, sociality in the nursing industry would be different from the current one in a good sense, I think. Woman-biased community has a great tendency to easily collapse the implicit power balance among people working there that we mutually maintain in a hierarchical society, I think. So I don't know the situation in women's society in other countries, but in case of Japan, women tend strongly to be swayed by emotion easily and show too honest emotion and too honest feeling towards people around them without thinking about their circumstance. So as an overall trend, they tend to be really bad at behaving themselves reasonably and putting themselves in other person's shoes. So, and if there is something bothering them, they just try to gang up and try to give an abusive treatment, like giving silent treatment to a targeted person. It's quite childish, It's quite childish behavior, but this happens a lot, realistically, on a daily basis in woman-biased society, especially in nursing industry in Japan. So as long as a woman-biased society has this kind of trend, I strongly take objection to women's empowerment in a Japanese society. So I don't really think gender equality should be advocated for something that causes negative effect on the social order. I wouldn't say whoever had been assumed in the position of this administrative director, Ohashi, of the nursing school. If the person had been a man, he would not have treated a student like this, because this is a personality problem. But as I said repeatedly, as an overall trend, if a nursing industry was a male society, I think the problem of woman-biased society would never happen in the male society. So sometimes I think the Japanese women are not really suitable for working in an organization in a Japanese society.